Next, I'm proud to invite Senior Professor, Professor Karunaratne. So Professor Karunaratne is from the Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finances, University of Colombo. He has got a PhD and an MA Economics from Nagoya University in Jaffna. He is going to present us today the Entrepreneurship SME Economics. The stage is yours, Professor Karunaratne. I'm going to actually unmute you now.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you and all other distinguished participants. And I'm of course representing the University of Colombo, as well as currently I'm the chairman of Institute of Policy Studies, IPS, in Sri Lanka. Of course, Mr. Prasanna was invited me to join your seminar. I thought that it would be more the industrial or the SME sector participants will come to this webinar. But anyway, I think I'm taking a little bit time to explain about the topic which is given to me. Of course, the Prasanna was telling me to speak on some aspects of entrepreneurship and SME economics. I think because now we are in an economic crisis situation. So what I thought to discuss about from recession to crisis, how we can consider the SME development and entrepreneurship development. I selected the topic as importance of revisiting literacy, resources and stakeholder relationships in at an economic crisis. We know Sri Lankan economy has been going in recession during last, of course, 5 years. We have had here, I hope that you can see my PowerPoints. I think I have shared my PowerPoints also. Can you see my PowerPoints?
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Okay. With that one, I will try to go quickly. Of course, as I explained that we are in an economic crisis situation where we had about 5% growth in 2015, and then that growth rate decelerated continuously to the 2.3% in 2009. So yeah, we were in recession last 5 years, and suddenly this Easter attack and as well as the COVID, we all know these things, and we are now in an economic crisis situation. At an economic crisis situation, what we can see that we need to understand in a recession or crisis, the fear and panic will be there, demand and spending also falling, and the business profit of course has declined. Nowadays you can see, but still banking sector profits are positive and increasing in Sri Lankan context, but other sectors of course we can see. And of course, when we are at a downturn, what can we do particularly for SME sector? This is very important thing, because in Sri Lanka we know the two big issues are lack of entrepreneurs and the development of SME sector. That of course my prediction is basically this arising due to the literacy issue, that in Sri Lanka they actually our literacy, we still believe that simply that literacy means reading and writing, but of course literacy has 5 components, as all are aware, that literacy means that basically not only reading and writing, but using language skills and ICT skills, as well as financial literacy and all. Of course, we know innovations and value addition, everything related to literacy today. So therefore, that in a broader perspective, we have to give the literacy for small business owners and entrepreneurs, and possibly with the school leaving crowd as well as the vocational training schools in Sri Lanka. And particularly this school leaving crowd and vocational training crowd, we may have to use non-formal education and informal education methods rather than trying to incorporate everything into a school curricula. So therefore, I hope that to improve the literacy and to move into more entrepreneurial culture, because we know from our religion or culture, Sri Lanka, the entrepreneurship is not much promoted, but you see even education also similar situation. Therefore, that we need to adopt kind of informal and formal education methods to improve this financial literacy among the school leavers and even with the vocational training and all other sectors. Then, of course, this literacy matter is serious according to understanding. We know the number of employers in our labor force is only 2.3%. If we take the total labor force, so that in a particularly crisis situation, in a recessionary situation, for existing entrepreneurs and existing small businesses, we need to say that the main components you need to revisit, and basics of budgeting, I think they have to revisit, understanding interest rates and exchange rate movements, and because their impact on their business, they need to understand the interest rate movements and exchange rate movements, as well as the prioritizing savings, because savings are the main important part developing their businesses, and credit debt circle traps, because most of the SME and the micro businesses at a crisis level, they go to panic decision making, and some are selling their business, or some are quit from the entrepreneurship to some other activities. Or therefore, that this debt trap we have to consider about and identify theft issues and safety, particularly this the internet users are also coming to small and medium-sized enterprises, so that these security issues also important. And on the other hand, you can see revisit the financial activities there. They may have to worry about their earning methods, consumption patterns, saving methods, investment philosophy, financial planning. So these things, I think we need to somebody, particularly I think informal and informal education programs should be conducted by the people, maybe the Chamber of Commerce or maybe the banks particular who are supporting, or informal banks who are supporting for these entrepreneurs. And at a crisis situation, basically people worry about more financial matters rather than other factors of in a business. You need to use resources which can be natural resource, physical, finance and labor, and particularly human resources. So most of the people, they worry about financial resources and how to get loan or how to increase their financial assets, something like that. But actual important thing during the recession period, I think they need to keep their human relations with their stakeholders. So that is the labor relations, and how they treat their employees, how they treat their suppliers. So this is one of the message I want to give, that for particularly micro businesses and entrepreneurs, because in a crisis situation or recessionary situation, they take panic decision that rather than concentrating on the other issues. And entire business activities, they need to revisit particularly supply chain and demand side, as well as the the human relations. They need to develop these human relations, particularly at a crisis situation, and should not take the panic decisions. Usually consumers are getting panic when they get information regarding the crisis or regarding a recession situation. Similarly, entrepreneurs are also taking panic decisions. So as a result, the number of entrepreneurs who are going to debt and other things will be very high because of this panic decision. And they need to carefully compare their business practices. The best business practices they need to take back, particularly during the recession period. So these are some of the things what I wanted to highlight. And meanwhile, you see that the human behavior usually go with the financial matters. So as explained that the financial matters with respect to Sri Lanka, we know that we had two development banks, but these two development banks did not, of course, did their job. And what happened that as a result, these two development banks we converted into commercial banks and sold it to private sector. So as a result, there is a vacuum in Sri Lankan economy. So therefore, what we need to do that, we need to establish a development bank. I think
you can take another minute or two, Professor.
Right. So the best thing is that we need to push for a development bank where the commercial banks, they worry about their profit, but you can see on the other hand, there's a huge microfinancing sector in Sri Lanka and there are a lot of issues arising. So therefore, I think that the establishment of a good development bank is essential. And meanwhile, of course, the promotion of financial literacy is essential to develop the micro finance and the micro businesses and SME businesses. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me.
Thank you very much, Professor Karunaratne. You have brought some very important message here. During the time of crisis, the human relationship between the labor relationship, the supplier, that is very, very important. The other message I got it from you is don't take panic decisions. And I have a very nice comment from one of the participants here. Yogesh has said, most of innovations happened in recession around the world. Maybe a modern business culture need to incorporate in education system to produce entrepreneurs. He has asked a question. So we will come to these questions on the later part of this discussion. But that was a great comment, Yogesh. And thank you very much again, Professor Karunaratne, and thanks for your time.